Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Female Esports League Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesian qualifiers. I know that's a bit of a mouthful, but that's how it is now with the server being merged. And once again, I am your play-by-play caster, Hungry Cass, and alongside me, I will have Spoots, who's going to be giving you the analytical information that you need for today.
Analytical information, yeah. Sure. I mean,
it's your job, man. I mean, you gotta break it down for us.
Yeah.
And speaking of breaking it down, we are into picks and bans, and for the match, at least for now, we will be watching FrostFire going up against Autofilled. So FrostFire will be on the blue side, Autofilled on the red side. Mind you that we will have a total of, I think, 6 matches today. We'll be looking at the upper bracket before moving down to the lower bracket. For now, we will just be focusing on these couple of matches. Of course, we'll try to have the brackets up for you if we can. That being said, we do want to talk about the picks and bans without delaying all too much. Silas, Nico, and Kenan going to be banned on the blue side, and on the red side, it's going to be the Caitlyn, Renekton, as well as Aatrox. So a decent top lane focus here from both teams, and Instalock Karma coming in for FrostFire here.
And just taking away a bit of the top lane champion pool, like you said, Nico, as we were talking about earlier, is a bit of a questionable ban here. Not exactly, the strongest in the current patch, but they do ban the Caitlyn, go for the Yuumi instead of very strong. Bot lane actually might lock the server like they were hovering earlier as well.
I think you can lock the Yuumi in here and then sort of decide on what you want for jungle prio. You could do Yuumi server for sure, but I think Yuumi Lucian is actually a better pick if you do get a better matchup in terms of how you want to play out the bot lane. Yuumi server is kind of like defaulting to just wave clearing and poking, right? But Yuumi Lucian actually has a decent amount of kill potential and early power in the lane. You do have a stronger potential when it comes to standing trades. So of course, I would have preferred that, but in this case, they're going for the safer picks. If a Yuumi here, good engage and disengage ability, as well as a very stable bot lane.
Yeah, you do have to see that since they did ban the Caitlyn, they do want to go for more of a a safe lane, picking the shorter range AD carry and the Yuumi, like you said, just to clear waves and just sit down bot and farm up.
Right now we see an Instalock Jarvan here, and this is what I was talking about, right? And the reason why you don't have to pick the server so early is because they have like 3 tier 1 junglers right now. It's Jarvan, Sejuani, and the occasional Skarner if you do play it, but for the most part we do see teams pick up Jarvan as well as Sejuani, so not getting that for themselves. Instead will be the Hecarim hovered on the other side and insta-locked as a response to the Jarvan. Not necessarily a strong pick, I feel, going up against the Jarvan because of how pre-6, or at least even at level 6, Cataclysm just denies a lot of your ability to engage as the Hecarim.
Well, Hecarim, he can bring that sort of damage profile earlier and in the mid game, but overall we haven't seen him much in the current metas, and I think, like you said, it's not very strong at the moment.
Jinx Karma here might just be the bot lane of choice for FrostFire, and against the Sivir Yuumi is actually really strong. You have decent shielding from the Inspire shield coming in to absorb the Prowling Projectile, and when it comes to dealing the damage back across, you actually do take better trades against the Sivir as Jinx at all levels, right? So you do have a stronger 2v2 in the bot lane with Jinx and Karma. Of course, that lane is much better at facilitating ganks as well because of your tether. So if you do land a tether onto Sivir and she doesn't land a spell shield properly, Jarvan can just walk in for a gank.
I 100% agree. Jinx, Karma definitely have the edge on the Sivir Yuumi right now. I think we have to attribute that mostly to, like you said, the tether and the shield. Right. Jinx's higher attack range.
Right.
On
the rockets as well. So in second ban phase, we see Akali here on the side of Autofilled and the Vladimir for the ladies of FrostFire. One thing I want to add on to the fact that we were discussing, Karma is probably bot lane. Well, that's not always the case. We saw Karma mid lane as well as a U30 wave clear pick to sort of support and supplement the Jinx, right? So there's still an option. They could go something like Braum, Jinx in the bot lane still, and have the Karma mid at top. So these are multiple options that are still available. And now we see the Kiana locked in. So taking away the assassin signals to me that I think the Autofilled side wants to play a bit more of a mage mid lane, or at least something squishy, that has poor matchups into assassins. As Shen is locked in here for FrostFire.
It's banned actually, so they're pinching the top lane pool as well here. They haven't actually picked up their top lane unless they're gonna send Karma there. So if you do ban the Vladimir and the Shen, not exactly sure what you're gonna try to pick up there.
A reminder that we are on 9.16, I believe, at this point. So Mordekaiser has been enabled as of the previous patch, and there you go, mage. That doesn't deal all too well with assassins. Even for the most part, when you hit level 6, champions like Akali and Kiana can just wait out your ultimate, right? So Chrono Shift is not as strong when it comes to delayed damage. Sure, you're really good against stuff like Syndra, where if they all in you or Zed, when they all in you, they can't delay the damage. But against these sort of flexible assassins, you want to be very careful about how you draft them. There you go. Lulu might just be the support here for Jinx, and you can see a utility Karma coming in. FrostFire drafting an 80 carry centric composition.
Yeah, but that does mean you're lacking a bit of damage here. You only have the Jinx and Jarvan for up till maybe the mid game.
Right.
Unless Karma actually does go full AP, I think they're gonna suffer in damage unless this Jinx gets pretty far ahead in late game.
The default top lane Karma item path is usually Athene's Unholy Grail into the Ardent Censer. From what I've seen, at least, I think yesterday it was Griffin against Hanwha Life, I want to say, in the first match for LCK, where they played Griffin played the top lane Mordekaiser into the Karma, and actually went really well for the Mordekaiser, because the thing about Karma in the top lane is when you build supportive items like Ardent Censer, your opponent split push you very well, because it's not a damage item, it's not a trading item, it's a utility item.
Alright, but it does look like Karma's actually going to be the support and Lulu's going to go mid, so we haven't actually seen Lulu mid in a while. It's still certainly viable, just have to play a little safer, going against the Victor and the Zilean in the top lane. So we see a bit of flexing at the moment. I thought Victor was actually going to go against the Ornn, but, you know, they decided to swap it around, so...
You were talking about the damage profile earlier coming in from FrostFire. Just bring that up for a discussion for a little bit, because I'm super afraid now, because this composition, like I said, it's a one-threat composition, right? We've seen that happen a lot in the past, where teams do draft one-threat compositions, and right now it does seem like they have the makings to protect the Jinx, they have the makings to keep the enemies in place, with the Ornn and Jarvan, as well as the peel from Lulu Karma. So what do you think of this composition overall?
Overall, I think if you're playing this composition, you really want to play it front to back. You want your Ornn as that beefy frontliner, you want Jarvan to maybe, you know, jump in, and you want Jinx, Lulu, and Karma just sit back and pump out that consistent damage. I think if this Jinx falls behind, that's where you really have to start worrying if you're FrostFire.
And overall, we were saying how Jinx Karma actually has a decent lane against Sivir Yuumi early on. When it comes to facilitating the ganks as well, Jarvan does a better job than Hecarim pre-6 for the most part. Even when it comes to, you know, getting focused down, I think blue side gets a bit more threat when it comes to pushing up aggressively, because you can be ganked from the river, so even against the Hecarim, it's not too much of an issue. You're not as afraid of the pressure there. Interestingly, we will see a Zilean top lane, which is unexpected. I was, you know, hedging my money on the Victor top lane, Zilean mid lane, actually.
I think Zilean top lane at this point is pretty okay. I think a range versus melee meta is not going to go very well for the Ornn, especially against the Zilean. When the Zilean actually gets a hit, he's actually, I think, pretty sleeper OP, you know, that sort of pocket picks that when you know how to play a champion, you can dish out a lot of damage. So I think if Pichu here is a good pilot for the Zilean, he's going to be quite the threat that we're going to have to keep our eye on later.
I think there was a couple of patches ago where we were seeing Zilean top lane with the Klepto Frostmancy, I think was the way people were referring to, where you take Klepto and then you go for like the Frostfang. So you basically get a lot of neutral gold coming, and then they nerf Frostfang, right?
Yep.
So I think that was one thing that was super popular for a while back. Zilean top, Karma top, and even what was the last one? I want to say it was another mage that was being played top lane. Everyone's like, well, this is ridiculous now. We shouldn't be able to be playing mages in top lane to that degree. But yeah, you know, it comes to the idea of like the pilot, when you do get a hit, or at least you get a small lead against the Ornn, it makes it much easier for your composition to be executed. And off the bat, it does appear like they have the makings of a very strong dive comp with the Hecarim and Zilean to sort of put bombs on the Hecarim, right? So you do have tools available to dive the backline if your opponents don't want to engage you all too much.
Yeah, one thing that we haven't actually brought up a lot about Autofilled, but they do have, you know, significantly more damage in the mid game and sort of in the early late game, if that's the thing. They do have the Victor, they have the Sivir, they have the Zilean, so this is pretty good damage. And if Hecarim does manage to beef up, he can serve as that tanky frontliner as well as go in and look for picks.
To me though, their composition a lot more flexible. It's not a one threat composition overall. If Victor gets a hit, you know, you could play the Victor side lane push. If Sivir gets a hit, well, then you just team fight, right? And if Hecarim gets a hit, it's so much innate strength when it comes to containing and controlling objectives, just because he can dual Jarvan out so well when it comes to taking the Keystones of Conqueror as well.
You said Victor side lane. I'm trying to question whether that's a thing, because I'm pretty sure the first rule of Victor is don't stand in the side lane in the mid game.
If you get far enough ahead, there's no one on the opponent's side that can deal with the Victor right now, because the composition of FrostFire is one threat. And if Ornn, if you're at equal footing in terms of gold against Ornn, you'll be able to prolong the side lane quite well and start to, you know, exert a lot of pressure when it comes to split pushing.
Alright, so compositional wise,
it's not a rule of thumb, like, you know.
Okay, I was like, oh man, alright.
for the most part, you don't want to send Victor to deal with like something like Aatrox, right? It's really difficult. Or deal with Akali in the side, or LeBlanc for the matter. But when it comes to the composition the opponents have, there's no one that can really pressure the Victor out. Even when they make it a 2-for-1, say Jarvan shadows the Victor, Jarvan shadows the Ornn and tries to gank the Victor, it's actually enough tools for you to delay the kill until your team responds, right? Because of the gravity field. Oops. Drop my notebook there. Because of the gravity field and because of the Chaos Storm as well, there are multiple tools you have to sort of deny and prolong the death.
Right, we don't see any Klepto coming in from the Victor,
yeah,
though. You know, that's going to be
interesting.
classic mid lane Victor. I mean, if you're not going against a melee matchup, you might as well not.
I was right about the Klepto on the Zillion though, because for the most part, if it's a ranged into melee matchup, you will see players take the Klepto just because they can proc it very, very often. We're on to game, and
See a pause?
Yeah, we see a pause. I feel like that's the first game of the day curse. Like,
Yeah.
there's always a pause in the first day of the game. First game of the day, rather.
Well, fortunately, if history's anything to go by, this boss usually doesn't last for very long, maybe a minute at most. So
Yeah, we did receive word. I think one of the teams was saying that the top laners were lagging out a little, so maybe just resetting the internet. PC's warming up, you know.
you pour coffee on the PC, like, you know.
You were saying last week, like, don't
Yep.
do that, right? You want to wake your PC up, don't pour coffee on your PC. Just maybe turn it on like half an hour earlier.
Okay. Well, we are now in game, so that's
Alright.
that.
The ladies of FrostFire are no strangers to people that play enough solo queue. Actually, you probably have seen a couple of them around in your solo queue games. Their MMR right now is around, you know, Plat 3 to Diamond 3, I think. So for someone like my rank, I'm Diamond 4, I do see a couple
yes.
of them here and there. It's not a flex. I mean, Diamond 4 isn't very high, right? Come on. Diamond 4 is like,
I
meh.
didn't say anything.
Yeah. If I was like Challenger, I'm like, yeah, I beat these guys all the time.
Right, okay, we do see some funky business here from the Karma, just stepping up behind the mid lane bush here.
What you could do as Karma here, it's cheesy, but
Okay.
around 120 you can actually just walk in RQ the Victor to chunk him out, and that makes him lose lane prior, or it makes her lose lane prior against the Lulu. You don't really forsake anything because your jungler doesn't need the RQ start. You, for the most part, use it to walk into the lane to harass, but against Silver Yumi, you're probably going to win the lane anyway from range, so you could cheese that one out. It's like that annoying thing people do when they play Twitch jungle, where they take red buff and then they walk in and cheese your gank, right? To give your mid lane a bit more prior, but right now we see the Silver Yumi putting a ward down on the Raptor camp. This should give them a good deal of information as to where the Jarvan is going to go when it comes to pathing. Of course, that ward is an adaptation of the 120 pixel ward that we used to see so much when Scuttle Crab was earlier spawned. Now it's a bit delayed, so of course the teams are starting to adapt around that. And speaking of adaptations, Elvrina's pretty smart. She knows, hey, there's going to be a ward there, I'm just going to path around it and hit to the top side. Will not be spotted out just yet.
Yep, we have seen these sorts of funky pathings from the red buff to the Crux before, but if memory serves me well, I think it's mostly been on the Jarvan, so he can cheese level 2 gank. So yeah, I think this just might be a bit of a defensive thing coming in from Hecarim.
Look at the bot side though, because they
Okay.
didn't see the Jarvan, they assume that he's pathing down to Crux, so they have to play a bit more safe here in terms of what they want to do. And you can see they're already like giving leeway over to the Jinx Karma when it comes to CS. They're gonna hit level 2 first, they will have the advantage here, just because they don't know where the Jarvan is. Level 2 will be here, right here, yeah. Here.
Luckily for them, not much of a power spike coming in for Jinx Karma, except for, you know, tons of damage coming in from the apart Q, but we see a gank at top lane.
Yeah, coming in, auto attack with the slow, flag and drag, not yet. Oh,
okay.
He went for the dive right there and flashed out. Okay, I thought he was gonna, or rather she was gonna be content blowing the flash, but instead following through with the gank, the flag and drag was just enough to get the damage down and not respecting the cheese coming in from the Jarvan. Remember, that's a 2 buff gank coming in from Elvrina on the top side. That should give FrostFire the early lead.
Yep, props over to Elvrina for not overestimating her damage, just jumping in. So if she actually managed to not kill the opposing Zillion, I think that would have turned out much different. But another fight here.
And teleporting in will hit level 3 Pichu, taking the worst end of that trade, but does have the corrupting potion to stay healthy. You know, the Ornn, remember that the passive of the Ornn allows her to sort of build items in lane, so she'll both be starting the corrupting potion and be super comfortable. Meanwhile, Gang coming in the bot lane, Hecarim speeding up, devastating charge is gonna knock the Karma back, but the flash comes up immediately, the ignite down, the heal a bit too slow. And the Ignite is gonna hand the kill over. I say that's the Rip buff rather, that gives the kill over to the Hecarim. And a bit delayed on the flash there coming in from the Karma. I think that was a misplay coming in. You definitely could have dodged that gank a bit better. But that puts them 1 kill on the board, and only 200 is the goal difference right now.
Yeah, you see Square's Bloom actually being procced by that Grim in your own jungle. I think it would have served them well if they just backed off instead of, stepping forward once again.
Taking a back off, not landing the knock up there. Elrina, the challenging smite, is gonna land a flag and drag up and give the kill over to the Ornn. And that's a big wave that was stacked up, so she did not respect the fact that it was pushing. If you take a look at the top side, oh hold up, counter jungling coming down here. Hecarim's going to be able to take the Raptor Camp away for free, seeing that the Jarvan's on the top side. So tempo-wise, I think FrostFire is super far ahead when it comes to making ganks happen. But the Hecarim is going to get away with a couple more camps here as the game goes on.
Yeah, Pichu on the Zillion earlier probably just thinking he could have sped out, but I'm going to hold that thought as Krug is spotted out on this ward here.
There's a good ward there to prevent the repeat gank coming in. Remember that the flash was burnt on the Karma earlier, so they have to respect the fact that Hecarim might be around, so that ward is good safety coming through.
Yep, and with that information, we have sort of devolved into a bit of a vertical jungling as Elrina takes the Raptors and Hecarim actually backs off. So.
Oh, that's tough, man. You just put down the ward and immediately Scryers spots it out. This means that Lovely in the mid lane is going to be at least more careful in terms of her positioning. I mean, I say that, she's just extending past the river. She should have saw the Jarvan earlier, so this is a small mistake coming through. Garrity Field put down a bit too far away as the Flying Drag is going to knock up the Victor, but thank goodness for the Corrupting Potion coming through. It's going to keep her topped up. No respect there coming in from the Victor, but should still get out without using any summer spells.
Well, if the Karma Cheese didn't come through, this certainly gave Toki the priority in lane. Should be able to push out this Victor without any issues. Might actually be able to take a couple of chart plating years as well.
But what happens here is, and I always talk about this, right? Cheating recalls.
Yep.
The moment the Jarvan comes in with a big wave, it forces the Victor to back off and teleport back to catch the wave. At this point though, because it was shoved with the Jarvan there, there's really no value left in the wave. It's gonna die instantly to the turret, and right there you still keep a teleport, but you're gonna be down a wave and a half when you return.
Yep, a little unfortunate for the Victor. Like I said, Lulu does cheat the recall here. It's gonna come back to lane significantly stronger, I would think. Skirmish up in top lane though.
Interesting that, oh, hold on, a knock up isn't really gonna find anything though. The Bell's Breath is gonna land the stun rather, on top of the Victor. The Brittle's proc is still extremely effective coming through against the Victor. Has to be careful about her, Zillion rather, excuse me. Has to be careful about her positioning against the Ornn in the top side.
Yep, this trade is so far is going towards the Ornn just because of the ganks coming in from Elfrina previously, but you know, if there isn't much action going on this lane for the next few minutes, I think Pichu begins to outscale in damage.
You can see she's not very proficient on the Zillion though, because the way she's farming the wave up is consistently shoving the wave out. By using the bomb, she's setting the wave away from her, and that forces her to extend to get CS. On smartly or wisely does freeze the lane and allow for the Jarvan to come through for the ganks, which is why top lane ganks have been so successful so far.
Yeah, oh, never mind, here you go.
Coming through for the damage, still has Hall of the Forge God available if she wants to use it, but meanwhile the gank coming through on the bottom side will not find the Karma. Instead it's going to be a devastating charge timing out, and a good deal of damage down onto the Hecarim, and that goes to Get Excited as she moves forward. Now the Sivir is the target, teleport coming through. They're trying to make this gank happen as the Lulu arrives, and a late teleport through once more on response from the Victor. They get the second kill. It's the Karma that gets it, and meanwhile Victor has overextended here. As 4 members of FrostFire here taking this fight. Getting one more auto attack will give her a reset, and the zap does not connect. Unfortunate, ladies and gentlemen, but at the end of it, 2-0 is still pretty good when it comes to getting advantages for the Jinx.
2-0 and a bunch of summoner spells onto the side of Autofilled. So that was definitely worth. I think it was a bit of a Pepega gank coming from the Hecarim, having his knockback time out the moment he steps on the turret. So that was a little bit unfortunate. It does build up into these 3, I think it was 3 for 0? 2 for 0?
2 for 0, yeah.
For FrostFire.
It was the Hecarim that did go down together with the Sivir. The flash blown from the Victor to get out, and Yuumi with the fancy feet dodging away from the zap. So like you said, now Jinx 2.6k ahead. This is a 500 gold lead compared to her counterpart, but story right now is in the top lane because the gold gap is widening slowly and slowly, even with the range versus melee matchup and Kleptomancy. On is still doing pretty well on the top side.
This top lane is fine. He's just gonna go build tanky. He's gonna be this front laner. You cannot kill them. Real story, I would think, is still on the Jinx. You have to see how far this champion is able to get ahead and how quickly she is able to hit those items.
Now the advantage isn't very large. It's BF to BF sword, so far matching each other in terms of items coming through. Wave clear is getting to the point where it's going to be obnoxious coming through from the Jinx as well because of those rockets, like talking about the extended range and the AoE. It's really difficult for Sivir to walk up in CS or even trade.
Yeah, unfortunate for the Sivir right now, about a level behind, unable to continue to push up, so you just have to freeze the lane right now, I think, if you're the Sivir. Don't want to risk another gank coming in from the Jarvan.
I was talking earlier about how the junglers split the map, as it were, right? Because they did vertical jungle. So bot side is the strong side right now for Autofilled, whereas top side is the strong side for FrostFire. What they could do to invert this strength rather is to have the Jarvan hit down and re-gank the bot lane, because they did get the couple of kills there. And that actually neutralizes the strength of the Hecarim in the bot side. So what happens eventually is you are going to get two strong sides of the map, and you can start to control the waves and control the objectives as the game goes on.
Yeah, and that really depends on how Autofilled allows them to play, because, like I said, I think if you're this Sivir Yumi, you want them to just, allow them to push, but instead they're gonna go for this. So.
Yeah, like I said, you come in for the gank to invert the strength, and right now the Hecarim moving into the bot lane, devastating charge. Used a bit too early, you can see. They're speeding around the map. Remember, this is a Conqueror Hecarim, not a Predator Hecarim, so you don't have that burst of damage when you first arrive.
Standard control ward in that tribe was actually just gonna dissuade Hecarim from trying to gank, actually, so we actually might see Alvrina just chill out here for a little bit, since not a virgin, and good name by the way, and Mercs don't seem very happy to push up right now.
A bit of a miscomm coming through. Jasmine walking up when the Jarvan's away, and meanwhile coming in for the gank here. The final chapter being used, but only rooting the Karma up as they find an instant kill on the Jinx. Coming through for the counter gank. Flag and drag is a bit of a miss coming through. Prowling projectile will chip down the Karma just a little bit as Lulu comes in for reinforcements. Talkie here arriving just in time to help supplement the wave clear. I say that, they're just probably going to give this one over to the Jarvan. Alright.
Yep, just a bit of a timely gank coming in from I'm Krug here to take a bit of advantage for her team. And this allows them to go for the dragon, which shouldn't actually be very well advised here since they don't have vision over most of the river.
Yeah, the control over there will be spotted out, but the good thing is they have mid lane prio because Lulu roamed down earlier, so Victor will shove the wave out. But like you said, it's still a very risky take on this Dragon. Arena coming in, flag and drag is up. She's gonna look for the steal there as Onslaught of Shadows is being used right now. No smite just yet, and the Jarvan's gonna fall first as the Mountain Dragon is taken by Autofilled. Meanwhile, the fight is breaking out. A great call to Forge God is gonna knock out multiple members. Talkie here having to kite this one out, or looking super bloodthirsty at this point. Just as I say that, she's gonna have to back off. There's not much damage coming through. Alvrina pulling the trigger a bit too early, not getting the steal and not getting any kills for her team.
And that's what we are talking about, right? You only have one damage threat on your team if you're FrostFire, and if you look at that fight, Jasmine was split up from her team. In fact, at the bottom side of the river, when the rest of the team was actually fighting in the top side. So that's not a fight that you want to take. If your AD carry isn't there, you don't have the damage to look for these sorts of engages.
And if the Jinx was there, it would have been a completely different situation because there were so many low health bars that actually got on a single prong to get excited with, allowed her to probably clean up the fight there. Like you said, one damage compositions have to be careful about how they space out their fights.
It's not exactly if she was there, because she was actually there, she was just trying to flank, but
right.
The risk there was that if she actually tried to step up further, she could have been turned on and jumped on by 4 members. So I think it's a little wise for Jasmine to just, back off and tell her team to not go in.
Item buys coming through. It's going to be the Cinderhawk picked up right now for the Jarvan player. And if you know me, you know that I like Jarvan players to go tanky for their team, because with Conquer you actually still deal a good amount of damage while being able to scale into the late game. And now you have double front lines to play with as opposed to a squishy Jarvan. Speaking of Jarvan, gonna find the Hecarim right here, devastating charge used preemptively to knock the control ward down. Top lane has priority, so the Zillion will be roaming down to supplement this threat here and allow him to clear the ward out.
Yep, wondering if they're actually going to go for the Rift Herald right now, since they don't have actually many objectives to take on the map. I think the map state right now is pretty stable. No one's really pushing their lanes too far up, so I think Rift Herald is something you can attempt to do right now.
The danger is that when it comes to a good deal of damage down the bot lane, looking like they want to go in, good Boomerang Blade through as well. But back to my earlier point, the problem with Herald is fighting in a enclosed pit. It's like a death chamber against the Ornn because it's so easy to use Call of the Forge God as well as the knockups to get the damage through. Will be spotted out here, the Jarvan. So gank not gonna happen, but yeah, against the Ornn and topside Rift Herald, super dangerous as an enclosed area.
Yeah, well, one thing we've seen from most of these teams is they don't really prioritize it too much unless they're trying to sneak it away. So most of the time, what we do see is the jungler just trying to solo it out with the laners just just chilling in lane, keeping the opposite number busy.
Rift turret plates did go down there a second earlier, as we saw on the screen. And from my understanding, there were absolutely 0 plates taken in the mid lane and top lane by FrostFire. So both teams just content farming the waves out, right? They're not really looking to accrue advantages by taking down the turret plates.
Were any turret plates taken actually this entire game?
I think they managed to chip away at the bot tier 1, if I'm not wrong. No, they did not, yeah. So neither teams, I think, really looking for turret plates this game. Just happy farming up, and just as I say that, they come in for the gank, the flash being used by the Yuumi, but overchasing just a little bit. Here comes the counter gank from the Hecarim, looking for the Jinx, and instantly slammed down. A great onslaught of shadows will cause the Jarvan to go down as well, and the last member alive here will be the Lulu that falls. A great double kill coming in from the Hecarim, and a bit of a over-eager gank, you have to think. After burning the flash, still going through once more for the player.
Yeah, over-eager gang, but it was a beautiful counter gang coming in from the Hecarim. Most of these members actually just jumped in the moment they saw the gang coming, and it ends up paying off a 3-4-0. Now about 2k gold a hit.
The Karma should have been staying here because there are multiple members here that are looking to make this dive happen, so smart idea is just to back off and concede the bot tier 1, or your Ornn tries to gain some advantages in the top side. Although it's a bit unfortunate because despite being 800 gold a hit, that doesn't translate all too well, right? Hecarim herself has already found a massive lead, 2.2k ahead compared to her counterpart from the triple kill in the bot lane earlier.
I mean, if your top laner who's playing a tank is 800 gold a hit, that doesn't translate into
there's like no value
much of anything if,
Going in for the damage, will miss the hit, but the Bellowing Breath not enough as well. Time bombs will be good though, as they're looking for an extended trade here. I don't think the Zillion is particularly interested in this one, as she's just kiting it out. Good deal of damage down, but overall the damage does not stick against the Ornn, who has a Spectre's Cowl as well as a good deal of MR.
Yeah, this effectively is just a what's the term? Wet noodle fight, I believe is the scientific term for this. But yeah, we're just gonna see, continued skirmishes at the top side. I don't think we're gonna see much come of that, except Elfrina's trying to go for a bit of gank here, I think.
She will see the Zillion here on top of that ward, but will not use the Blast Cone. Instead, we'll just use the Flag and Drag to move forward. And there you go, a bit of a misplay coming through there. Call of the Forge God was used to reset the health on Pichu, but there's really no one around here. She's flashing out to get towards the Hecarim for safety. Good directional flash there from the top laner to get to her teammates, but overall, like I said, no one on the side of FrostFire to come and finish off the kills. Have to think there was a misplay using Call of the Forge God there.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a misplay, like you said, I think. Well, it was good positioning for her to, just flash towards the team and just get out.
Meanwhile, using the Super Mega Death Rocket to try and pop the Zillion, but only finding the Sivir in the mid lane. Meanwhile, Ornn is going to get tunneled down, and this is the combo we're talking about, right? You can put the time bombs on top of the Hecarim and allow him to just dive into the thick of it all, as she should be able to secure the kill. There you go. Support coming through from the rest of her team. Meanwhile, looking to tunnel onto the Lulu. Is this Hecarim? She's just all across the map at this point. Talkie eventually going to get away as they start up the Mountain Dragon on the bot side. So far, extremely high tempo game.
Yeah, good distraction from Talkie, but you do have to question a little bit whether it was safe for her to be stepping up that far into the jungle. I mean, you have the Hecarim, you have the Yuumi able to speed up your horse, so that could have resulted in Talkie's death if she wasn't playing that as carefully as she did.
One thing we have to note is that both teams are just looking to trade turrets at this point. It's almost a race of whether they are able to get more than the opponents. Right now, Rift Herald has been popped on the top side. This should get them not just top tier 1 but top tier 2 as well. And this is unfortunate timing coming through. It's a wasted charge from the Rift Herald. When I say wasted, it's not in terms of health, it's wasted in terms of timing. Had they just walked over and put it down, it would have gone down either. The second charge coming through here on the top tier 2. As the rest of FrostFire just recall here and back off.
Yep, FrostFire just trying to back off and look for the defense. Not actually going to find anything since Autofilled's actually just going to back off. So overall, we do see a bit of an advantage over to Autofilled as they get a bit more damage onto the tier 2 turret in the top side. Now they're trying to go for something in the mid lane, but FrostFire is there to counter that.
Item spikes coming through from both AD carries. We see the Infinity Edge completed for the Jinx. Meanwhile, Essence Reaver is going to be item of choice here for the Sivir. Oh man, double control ward. You hate to see that.
Extra vision.
Yeah. Now it's going to take them 8 auto attacks to clear that brush.
Oh yes. Extra value, but yeah, like you said, the item spike coming in for both AD carries. Jinx here with significantly more damage of the Infinity Edge, but Sivir's just gonna take a bit more time to ramp up as a champion. So
I feel like the Essence Reaver does give more upfront power though because of the passive. Infinity Edge sure gives you crit, but so does Essence Reaver, and to that point it gives you mana back. So Sivir's gonna be content just sitting in mid lane, just wave clearing with Ricochet.
Yep. Right now it's just a bit of a race to see who can get the mid lane turret and open up the map. I think once we see that happen, we're gonna see more action across the map. But it's not like it's not like this game has been very slow to begin with, but still.
What I want to see now is that actually the Jinx hit to the top side and just freeze the wave in, because they do have the better scaling when it comes to their composition. They're looking to play protect the AD carry, and to do that, they need to give a lot of the goal over to the Jinx. So right now the wave coming to the top side, you should actually just perma-freeze the top side to accrue an advantage and deny the victor away from the wave. Because walking up that far, there's no one on the side of Autofilled that can actually extend to top tier 2 and collect the farm or reset the wave.
At the moment though, both teams are sort of content playing the ARAM style.
Say that ARAM coming through, Call of the Forge God, is going to knock up the victor as she's going to speed away, but meanwhile a great knock up coming through and they finally get the reset. A lot of damage down to her Jinx. She might just fall here as Decorum comes through. Great stopwatch to buy the space and the time needed as she's backing off, and the heal coming through will give her the shutdown. And this is what we were talking about. The Protect the Jinx composition is coming through. They find 2 kills. They're looking for more as they're heading forward. They want to get the Jinx. They want to get the resets. They want to get the damage, and they will find a kill onto Sivir. They will sacrifice the Jarvan though, as a bunch of kills coming through. It's going to be a 2 for 3 trade in the mid lane. Yumi's still very low, and the only member left healthy is the Zillion here sitting in the mid lane, clearing the waves out.
Yeah, a bit of an even trade, just 3 for 2 kills, nothing else on the board right now, but I want to draw attention to what the Hecarim was doing in the early stages of that fight. You know, when you're on the Hecarim, you're able to displace the AD carry, you're trying to break apart this composition or defend the Jinx, but that stopwatch came in really clutch for the AD carry, keeping her alive, and you have to think now that it's spent. Maybe the next fight is going to come out different.
Yeah, I like the point you brought up, the idea that Hecarim can Onslaught of Shadows in, devastating charge her back into your own team. And had it not been for the stopwatch, the fight would have gone completely differently. But right now, because they did take a small win there, there's a bit more tempo back in their pockets when it comes to pressure. Items coming through, it's going to be a Zeal pickup here. And a Gargoyle Stoneplate for the Jarvan, so she knows that her job is just to go and engage and soak as much damage as possible. She wants the HP coming through. Meanwhile, for the rest of the side of Autofilled, the Trinity Force done for the Hecarim for quite a while already, as completed Hex Core, or rather perfect ultimate Hex Core isn't done yet for the Victor.
Yep, the Victor's is going to take a little time to ramp up and get the damage items so that he can be very influential in these fights. So one thing that we have to look out for is Autofilled's ability to play this late game like what you talked about earlier, but I'm going to hold that thought as we see Ornn getting caught out here.
Yeah, getting singled out by the Prowling Projectile will mean that Vision is on her and the rest of the team should tunnel down. Still delaying the death though, a good deal of time being bought. But the rest of FrostFire not really doing anything with that time, so this is a mistake coming through. Like we were saying earlier, if your top laner is getting focused down by 4 and buying you space, 3, 4, 5 seconds, that's when as a team you should be making the moves on the map, but no, they're really not doing anything as they sit just below the mid tier 1 and look at each other. Blank looks on their faces.
Yep, 100%. They could have definitely capitalized on that better, but I want to draw attention back to my point. I think, like we talked about champions, like one thing that we have to look out for is the damage that does come through for Autofilled once they hit that late game. So if FrostFire want to end this game quickly before that stage, they are going to have to find more picks and more advantages, especially through this Jinx.
Yeah, the Jinx has to be the focal point for this composition. Against FrostFire, if you are Autofilled against FrostFire, the pressure point is the Jinx. You want to get her down as quickly as possible and then move on to the rest of the team, because there's not really much damage in the composition as we say that. Teleport comes in, and will be denied by the gravity field, but Call of the Forge God goes wide there as they're grasping at straws right now. I'm not particularly sure what the idea there was, Jufan.
The idea was to protect the ward, I think. It's a very high value ward for some reason. I have no idea. I don't know what else they could have been trying to do there, other than maybe they're getting desperate, like we said, trying to get that advantage on the Jinx. So the engage was very questionable. I'm not exactly sure what they were trying to do there, but yeah.
The weird thing is there is actually a ward behind the Baron Pit. I'm not sure if it was placed after the engage, but the teleport there would have been more impactful, I think, coming through. A lot of poke damage down onto the mid lane Lulu. Remember that she has no magic resist items or health items to speak of. In fact, only the Lucidity Boots as well as the Lune's Echo and the Forbidden Idol. So maybe she's the one that's going to be headed towards the Iron Sensor, whereas the Karma might be looking for Redemption next. All in all, the idea is clear here coming through from FrostFire. Protect the AD carry and get it to a point where the Jinx is going to be able to pop off in fights.
Yeah, but you have to look for those fights before. Well, when I say look for those, I don't mean those kinds of funky engages like we just saw. But you do have to keep looking out for picks that you can take, because at this moment you're about 3k gold behind. And you're being outscaled by your opponents, so you have to look for something, and you have to look for it soon.
At the end of the day, though, I don't think that Autofilled does have to handshake any fights that they don't want, because they do have Sivir still. Like, if they hard engage you on the hunt, is enough utility for you to sort of disengage and back out, right? So, unless you opt into the fight and you handshake and say, okay, if you want to walk into us, we'll walk into you and take that fight. Unless they do that, there's really nothing that the ladies from FrostFire can really do to press the matter.
And here's another thing regarding the draft. I think FrostFire did not draft for enough engage.
Yeah,
right now.
It sounds weird coming through, like when you see, oh, there's a Jarvan, there's a Ornn. I 100% agree with you. There is not enough engage.
You only have the Jarvan's flag and Drake to jump in, and Ornn to follow up. But right now, if you're auto-filled, you're feeling very happy because FrostFire don't really have many tools to jump on you. And when you want to look for a fight that's auto-filled, on the hunt, you got a Hecarim, you got a speed up from Yumi, you just go.
Yeah, exactly. So it's so weird to see that, like, oh well, we have Jarvan and Ornn, but we don't have the engage. The fact of the matter is your opponents drafted more utility in terms of mobility, right? And like we said, when you try to force the fight, it's not necessarily going to come through as they land knockups, but the rest of the team is just going to look to disengage right now. Good Super Mega Death Rocket. He's going to catch 3 members as they look to disengage. Meanwhile, the Hecarim down onto the backline. He's getting a lot of damage done. He finds 2 members already, and that's not who you want as the Ornn goes back in. A good deal of damage back though, as the Jinx might be looking to pop off here. She's finding the damage, and she will just get the zap down onto the Sivir as the crits come through. And right there, they're so crucial that the Ornn landed the knockup in that fight.
That's exactly what you want if you're FrostFire. I'm not exactly sure what they were trying to do when they went for the engage. I think they missed a lot of crucial skill shots, but the woman of the day right now, Jasmine, able to come in with the crucial damage and the rockets and the resets, able to find up a clean ace, but about like 5 for 2.
Exactly, a 5 for 2 right there, and this is what we're talking about. They took the fight after all the engagements missed. They disengaged first, right? They all flashed out from the Cataclysm. And for some reason, they chose to handshake the fight after by looking to re-engage, and that's the mistake, because you used a lot of your mobility, a lot of your ultimates to disengage, and then you say, oh, we want to go back in, we made a mistake. That is when Ornn capitalized and say, well, if I can land a 4-man knockup, you guys are going to be bunched up in the air for quite a while, and Jinx is just going to go to town on you guys.
And in the end, you do see 2 towers going down for side of Autofilled in the mid lane, so that does open up the map, gives FrostFire a bit more of priority across the map, so we might actually see more vision come down around the Baron Pit, and they might go for this top side tower.
Looking for the Karma here, the final chapter is gonna lock her down, and that's an easy kill picked up in the way of the Sivir. And like we said, both compositions actually looking to do the same thing. By no means are either teams out of this just yet, as Baron will be started up right now by the Autofilled ladies. Vision was given away when they cleared out the control ward, and now the Scrying Orb is gonna give this away as well. Here comes Call of the Forge God. It's gonna be so crucial whether they can steal this away. A good Cataclysm is gonna lock them all in as the resets come through. I don't think the Jinx is gonna be able to go down here as I say that. They managed to find the damage, but they get all the kills that they need. Victor's next, and so is the Hecarim. They're kiting this one out. Flag and Drake to knock her up, and there's the kill coming through. Gargoyle Stone Plate, not even necessary there, as they move forward and look to get the kill onto the Victor. But like I said, Cataclysm plus the Call of the Forge God is just way too good to keep them locked up together.
And that's just the whispers from the previous fight coming back to haunt them, when the Jinx was able to get that many kills from the previous fight, they were able to get the upgraded Infinity Edge from the Ornn passive, able to get the Ruinance Hurricane. So now she has that AoE massive damage that she is able to bring to these fights. And if Autofilled want any chance to come back in these fights, they have to stop taking them like this.
Yeah, the idea, like I brought up earlier, the fact of handshaking fights. When people force on you, you always have the option to back off unless you position poorly. I mean, in the Baron Pit, of course, it's kind of a moot point, right? Because you either retreat into the Baron Pit and die, or you kite upwards, and in which case, it's a simple matter for Call of the Forge God to pick you up. I would highly suggest that they find in open spaces so they don't have to handshake these fights. That being said,
I think that Baron Call was a little they should not have went for the Baron that early.
I think the idea was like, we found the karma for free, maybe we have a man advantage here, but still, Baron counts as a 5th, right? So you always have to respect the fact that Baron is going to be dealing a good deal of damage to you as you attempt it. Meanwhile, Ocean Dragon is going to be taken by the ladies of FrostFire here. The gold is all about even, but when it comes to hold on here, good use of the Bellowing Breath to deny the CC coming through. Remember, you are unstoppable when you channel the spell. Damage is going to be healed up relatively quickly as well. On the hunt being used very, very quickly to get out of this fight. Remember, they don't want to handshake any more skirmishes like this. The Call of Forge God only going to knock up the victor if they look to disengage fully in Gravity Shield, or Gravity Field rather. Just being placed down for added safety measures.
Good call for Autofilled to just disengage there. They don't want that fight, like you said, they want to scale up a little bit more until they're able to match this Jinx in damage.
Syrah's getting to that point, she's ready to complete the Infinity Edge. She's looking for one more crit item to get online. And having the inside track on this mid lane should signal to us that chip damage will be done. They can't extend too far though, because it will force them into a precarious position where opponents will be looking to force on them. Remember, On the Hunt isn't up just yet. A couple of seconds more, I think about 20 seconds more in the Ultimate of Silver.
Yep, we're reverting back to a little bit of an ARAM style as they try to siege the turret here. Should be successful, no problems.
Will eventually go down as they have to back off. These fights are getting really, really messy because you can see what both teams are looking to do in these team fights. On one hand, Hecarim's looking to dive the Jinx, and on the other, the Ornn is looking to stall the backline. So when these fights split, it tends to be very chaotic. I want to focus down the priority targets. As speaking of which, the Hecarim is going to get caught out here, and that's not what you want. Having to use Onslaught of Shadows to get out of that fight, and jungler low means that the recalls will have to come through. And this is a small window for FrostFire if they want to claim it. Oh, Super Mega Death Rocket, not enough damage coming through. Oof, so close. I think the shield was good too coming in from the rest of the team. Looking at a team fight, and Elvrina might have just overcommitted a little here. Gargoyle Stoneplate though, giving her a lot of health. Meanwhile, Call of the Forge God being used to dissuade this, handshaking the fight. Now is Ladies of FrostFire in a poor position, moving forward so aggressively. Here comes the Hecarim, down onto the Jinx. They found the CC, but they don't have the damage. Meanwhile, the Ornn getting singled out, the only member of a team left to her own devices getting caught out. They lose the jungle, they lose the top lane, and the story of the game has just been bad engages all around here, Chufan.
Yep, both junglers actually positioning really poorly throughout the extended engage. I think luckily for Hecarim, she was on the Hecarim, so was able to get out no problem. But when Elvrina jumped in behind the Baron Pit, that was a little bit where you just asked, hey, what are you trying to do there?
Spam ping question mark. Like all 4 of her teammates should be spam pinging question mark right there, because in that position, there's no way the rest of the team follows up, because the choke is just so difficult to walk through against a Hecarim, Zillion, as well as a Victor, who all have control over areas. There's no way for anyone else to get to the Jarvan to supplement the damage, so that's a sacrifice that you don't want to make.
Absolutely, but we do have to look at the gold right now, about what, 2k? We rarely see games that actually extend to about 30 plus minutes where the gold is this even. So we have to see whether Autofilled is able to utilize this Baron to extend that gold lead. But one thing we have seen this entire game is the gold lead just bouncing back and forth. So at this point, here pretty evenly matched.
I would wager to say that at this point, gold and items are of secondary value. It's how you pick the fights that are starting to matter now, because all it takes is for a single member to engage poorly, or your whole team handshaking a bad fight. It's just going to cost you the game right there.
We're handshaking a bad fight right now. I thought we were going to see an engage there, but no. Autofilled actually just going to back off here as Jasmine clears the wave.
Oh, there you go. The legendary split pushing
Hey,
Zillion.
boy.
Like I said, there's really nothing
Victor.
much. Oh, yeah, Victor, my bad, yeah. been getting that mixed up the whole morning. But like I said, there's really nothing much you can do to dissuade the push coming in from the Victor, because there's no one really that can match the split push. Especially now that the Hex Core has been completed, and she will have access to the evolves on all her skills as well as the Chaos Storm.
Especially with the Baron right now, you are able to play this one very effectively and hopefully look for some turrets. Actually gonna get this one as Ornn is just a little too late on the rotation.
Remember that Ornn is a champion that uses his skills or her skills to clear the wave out, and against Baron empowered minions, they actually take mitigated damage from magic damage.
Arena here trying for a fang, but it's actually gonna get spotted out, so no chance of that.
If she engaged, they would have lost, like straight up,
100%.
because Ornn wasn't there and Victor was first to the rotation. So if she picked that fight, they just straight up lose. They die right there in that choke.
But this begs the question, right? Autofilled now with this advantage is going to start outscaling the Jinx in damage. So if you don't look for a fight now, you're not going to be able to look for many high impact engages in future if you're FrostFire.
The onus right now, like you said, about scaling, it's on FrostFire to find a good fight, because if they don't and they stall the game out, they're just more damage threats from their opponent's composition. So there's no way that they can stall this game out.
Yeah, but right now Autofilled is just not allowing them the opportunity to look for these engages fast to the rotation and taking down turrets across the map. First in the bot lane, now the top side, now they're going to rotate back to mid.
Not just mid, I think they want to get mid lane priority and then move over to the dragon, because there is the 5th dragon of the game, which is signaled that after that is taken, Elder Dragon will be the next core objective to be looked at. I think Krog is just going to solo this one out. Hecarim is pretty adept at that, especially at this point in the game.
Yep, probably no chance of steal coming from FrostFire. They're just forced to stay at mid lane and clear waves at the moment.
Dragon will be secured here by the jungler of Autofilled. Arena once again on the flank looking for these plays, but it is the flag and drag that does not connect coming through, and they take a lot of chip damage for that misplay. Hecarim is the one with the actual flank. You think you have the drop on my team? Well, I have the drop on you. As she is going to rotate to the bottom half and clear out the wave.
Baron here actually expired, so it's just a bit of a wave here. It's not actually going to find much of anything at the moment, so...
The power play did find him a good amount of structures right now. So on the map, there's only the mid tier 2 that's left standing outside of the base. Yeah, as you said, not for long. There's a good deal of chip damage down onto the turret. Very clear though from the Jinx. It's pretty good. Oh, this is a split coming through. Very dangerous and precarious positioning coming through from the Autofilled. Ladies, you never want to end up in that position where you have to split off 2 and 3.
Especially not at this stage when you're this far behind, I think. Right now you just have to group around the Jinx and look for favorable fights.
Credit to Arena, she's been sort of scouting for these angles or flanking factors in, as Krog is going to get caught out here, and they were talking about the Cataclysm will deny the Onslaught of Shadows out, as she's going to take a whole bunch of damage there. The resets coming through from the Jinx. She found the first one, now she's looking for the second. Still very low though, has to be careful about the bombs around her. Arena popping the Gargoyle Stone Plate was enough to keep her healthy, as the Hecarim overreaching there. Stopped by the Cataclysm, will eventually fall.
Yep, not respecting the amazing polymorph and the Cataclysm coming in from the Lulu and the Jarvan respectively, so does manage to trade out her life.
Yeah, most people don't know this, but if you cast Onslaught of Shadows and the Jarvan uses Cataclysm, it actually follows through to the point where you leave. So if you stagger the animation, you actually deny the escape tool that Hecarim has, which is what exactly happened there, right? You use Onslaught of Shadows first and the Cataclysm used after, then the wall was created around the Hecarim, regardless of where she was going.
Right, at the moment we do see a bit of a lull as Autofilled actually not that happy taking a bit of engage. I think they want to look for a bit more damage, look for a few more items before they're comfortable with taking the fights. By no means right now is Jasmine out of this fight. I think she still brings a lot of damage to the table. So if you're Autofilled, you still have to be pretty worried. I mean, not worried, I think.
Cautious.
Cautious,
yeah.
Sure. When you look for these engages.
Crucially though, she has picked up the Mercurial Scimitar, so the ability to cleanse some any sort of crowd control coming through is going to be very crucial. Of course, we're looking towards not just the root from the final chapter, but also the fear coming through from Hecarim's Onslaught of Shadows. There are a lot of crowd control spells that will signal her doom if they do connect.
Yep, so now it's on Autofilled to, layer the CC onto the Jinx so that she's unable to use that Mercurial Scimitar. But you know, these fights have been so messy, we definitely have to give props to Jasmine if she's able to cleanse those crucial CCs.
Oh, very bad positioning coming through here from Autofilled. The split on both ends, and the knockup is gonna find the victor now. There's no way for them to take this fight, as over-engaging now is the Hecarim. This is a 4v5, and Jinx is left on the back line, just auto-attacking and auto-attacking. They found a poor engage. I told you, the handshakes are gonna cost them the game, and right now the Hecarim handshaking a bad fight is gonna give over the ace. I don't know what Autofilled was thinking at that point, but it's a triple kill for the Jinx, and she'll say thank you very much, ladies.
And those are the kind of front-to-back fights that you're very happy taking when you're this Jinx. Jasmine right there was shooting those rockets with a smile on her face. Taking the Baron, no problem right now. 1k gold, back to FrostFire.
That was literally the dream scenario of AD carry. You don't even have to just walk forward and auto-attack because the rest of your team is frontlining for you, and I think credit where credit is due. Sure, Jasmine did a good job dishing out damage, but it was a massive misplay coming in from the side of Autofilled handshaking that fight.
Perhaps not respecting the Mercurial Scimitar and the shields that come through with the Karma and the Lulu. So right now we see a lot of advantages coming in for FrostFire. I think this Jinx is just going to get further ahead right now, and Autofilled's going to have to delay much longer if they want to outscale her damage once again.
What it does look like to me at this point is that the shot calling from Autofilled is a bit disjointed. You could see that Kruk, the Hecarim player, is making her own calls, whereas the rest of the team are not on the same page. The rest of her team are just looking to kite backwards and handshake better fights, whereas Hecarim saying, oh, I can burst down the Silver, I can burst down the Jinx, I've done it before. And she's just trying to make these plays happen.
Like, I agree with that, but I think I like to wager that, you know, FrostFire and Autofilled, both these teams have had questionable shot calling sprees this game. I mean, no game goes to 41 minutes without interesting
in this
moves.
current meta, yeah, for sure.
Whew, right, both teams here gonna center around the Elder Dragon. We actually might see another engage as Elvrina flag and drags in.
Oh, that's a very quick Hecarim leaping forward, not even trotting. It's almost like she wants to dive into the backline, but thought better of it as the rest of her team is splitting towards the back end of this river. Zap is gonna find the Yuumi as Victor leaps forward, and it's a good deal of damage for it though, as Call of the Forge God is gonna whiff and barely nick Lovely on the side. Meanwhile, so we're doing the damage that she needs to. The rest of the team now following up. This is a good engage onto the backline. Jinx now has to be very careful about her positioning. All eyes onto the AD carry. She is stunned up. She is still very low, and she will fall eventually. And this is the fight that was handshaken so well. A great engage coming through from the ladies of Autofilled, but it's not over yet, as they still have to battle it out against the Bruisers on the FrostFire side. The Jarvan and the Ornn still very, very big in this fight. So we're now rejoining this after managing to pick off, at least chase off, the Lulu. Meanwhile, the damage is going to come through from the Elder Drake, and well, the two junglers just duking it out, but Elvrina's going to fall eventually. This should give over the Elder Dragon to Autofilled, as the start of that fight so messy, but well taken by Autofilled.
Yeah, and at that point you have to question why Jasmine was popping so far up the river. Should have stayed way behind near the Pixel Brush there, where she was not, well, I think would have mitigated a lot of threat that the Hecarim would bring.
It was control water up as well.
Yep. But the question is, why did she step up into the Dragon Pit? So I think that's something that they have to look at, and if you want to look for these fights, you have to position better if you are Jasmine.
Yeah, both sides here, questionable playmaking and questionable positioning coming through. Elder Dragon is gonna go the way of Autofilled, and this is a huge power spike in terms of combat ability, of course. Baron taking ability if the objectives comes out soon too, but once again, the story is whether they can take these fights and handshake properly, right? Because it's so tricky to re-engage poor fights. We saw that happen time and time again. Both sides sort of just dodging away, looking to disengage and saying, oh, we can go back in, but expending a lot of their spells already. It's wasting resources. They shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, it's just way too many questionable plays from both these squads, allowing this game to... I don't think it's going to end anytime soon anyway, so we're in for the long haul, folks.
43 minutes in, we are 5 dragons and an elder deep into the game. Third Baron will be coming up soon.
You have to think though, if you're Autofilled, I think you could have, you know, played the, like you said, the side lane Victor slightly better. I think right now both these teams have just been playing an ARAM for most of the game, just trying to look for those 5v5 fights all the time. So I think that's something that you don't really want to see. You want to see more macro play coming in from Autofilled. I think FrostFire right now, okay, they can group as 5, but Autofilled, you
Macro
have
play.
to play the map.
Macro play. It seems like that's a word that's gonna be lost on the girls this series, as they're just looking to duke it out and fight, right? Items coming through from all teams. Well, as the siege is being denied. You can see the Ornn using her passive to get a couple upgraded items through to the Karma right now. I think it's the Redemption that was upgraded last. So literally everyone on the team, apart from the Jarvan, who is feeling a bit sad, has an upgraded item.
Yep. Real question right now is, where is the next fight going to come through? I think this siege in the mid lane is going to be pretty dangerous, but Sivir Yumi in the top side is also going to be very...
I actually don't like the Sivir split pushing alone because she doesn't have flash. So if the Jarvan looks to force on top of the AD carry with Cataclysm, she's going to be stuck in there. There's nothing much you can do. And as much as you want to dissuade... Oh, okay. As much as you want to dissuade the engage, right? You can only stall for so much time as the AD carry. If you're Hecarim, if you're Victor, sure. You have CC, you have escapes. But Sivir has nothing. Apart from on the hunt, if you're stuck in Cataclysm, you're stuck.
I think the thought coming in from Sivir is, if you see the Jarvan, you just, book it and run. But we see another engage here.
Great engage onto the backline. Is going to find 2 of the Cataclysm as well as Call of the Forge God. Meanwhile, a good deal of damage on the backline, but Jasmine is free to auto-attack as the CC has been cleansed, and now she's just going to town on the Autofilled ladies, overreaching there, ladies. A bit too unfortunate. Charging away is the Hecarim, but eventually will fall. Ornn flashing out there. Maybe should have just gone down and saved the summer spell, but never mind. Still going to pick up the 3-4-0.
And now once again we see FrostFire with the advantage. So
it's a tug of war, ladies and gentlemen, but with the Baron coming up soon, I don't think that was the best time to fight. And just as I say that, it will spawn, and we'll go the way of FrostFire without a shadow of a doubt.
You say that, Autofilled wants to disagree, since they are actually just trying to contest this from behind.
Smooth play coming in, flag and drag, and then popping the Blast Cone to get over the wall will deny any sort of steal, and the Smite will secure it. Elrina, some questionable plays, but some great ones too. The earlier fight with a massive Cataclysm to top off the Call of the Forge God was very crucial in netting them the victory. Meanwhile, wave will be cleared here on the bottom side.
Alright, so both neutral objectives taken. I think not gonna be too long until the Elder Dragon begins spawning again, but as it stands, the only objectives on the map are towers, so hopefully we do see more macro play. I use that word, but right now we haven't seen much of it, so Autofilled, come on, give me some split pushes and stuff.
Honestly, Zilean is at that point where she actually has enough tools to prolong gank on her in the side lane, so I think actually Zilean is pretty well suited to just play the side lanes now and push the wave up. In fact, what she could do is just attach the bombs. Oh, double teleport coming in, a bit of a over-eager defense coming through.
They just want to play the ARAM, so alright. The entire team is up at top lane. We're gonna have to go up for the engage. So
speaking of engage, final chapter will be flashed away from. They're still looking for the Jinx on the back as the Cataclysm will be used to lock the Hecarim in. Meanwhile, the reverse teleport coming through from the Ornn, and she's buying so much time. The Jinx or the Sivir rather will go down as the Chrono Shift comes in to revive her. I'm not sure what she was doing in that position, ladies and gentlemen, as they will find a shutdown onto the AD carry, and this should signal that top tier 2 as well as the top inhibitor turret should be falling soon. The Baron up minions are pushing in.
Yep, no Sivir, that's a huge damage threat off the board for Autofilled. They're gonna lose a lot, probably not gonna lose their base, but
at least the inhibitor turret, I think,
yeah.
Wave clear is still pretty decent from the Zilean and Victor, but the damage across is good as well. Resetting now is the Hecarim, who is looking for an engaged angle in. Ultimates are available for the Zilean as well as the Victor if they want to force this one out. The Master Standard thrown in. This is a small window if they want to pick the fight, as the turret is eventually going to fall. Like we said, a good zap onto the Victor will force her to die. Meanwhile, the Chrono Shift coming in to buy some more space, and now she's in a poor position. She will eventually fall. The zap there, the slow was so crucial in getting them the kill, and now the inhibitor. And this is a small window for them to push in for the victory as well if they want to, but instead will rotate to the mid lane with a big wave set up already for them to claim the mid inhibitor as well.
Yep, these zaps from the Jinx will be very crucial as she
oh
finds
man, another one coming through, and another one as the Call of the Forge God is used to knock up the Zilean. Remember, no Chrono Shift available means that the top laner is going to fall, and so is the AD carry, and now she's leaping forward. She has the passive active. But the Nexus is eventually gonna fall as they look for a bit more kills on the back end. Polymorph onto the Hecarim for the KDA padding. They might want the Yumi on top of it as well.
Yumi survives.
Will survive, but the Nexus will not, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, FrostFire finding the game, and unfortunate rather for Autofilled that FrostFire is gonna find the game.
Unfortunate for both these teams that their shot calling was so all over the place in that game. What game in this meta goes to 48 minutes really?
Unfortunate that the fights that were taken were not the ones that either team should have been looking for.
Yep.
I think if I had to sort of chalk it all up to a phrase that describes this game, it's just bad engages, right? As we take a look at the stats graph at the end, is going to be 51,000 physical or total damage dealt by the Jinx.
Yeah, one thing that really stands out to you is this Zillion. After being put so far behind in the earlier stages of the game, I think she was just really unable to come back. So
yeah, I'm actually curious how much healing was done from the rest of the team, because this is overall, yeah, you can see actually the Jarvan and the rest of the team supplementing the healing was pretty good, but when it comes down to it, the Jinx was just in a prime position to pop off. So the rest of the team was around to support her.
Yep, that game should not have actually ended there. I think the real question is why was the Sivir behind?
Yeah, that
FrostFire?
Fight was so weird. Like, she was behind the wall near the Tribrush, and I was like, well, there's Chrono Shift, but there are also 4 members around her.
Yep.
I wonder this is how this is. It's like that, you know that meme? I don't even want to say it, but you know which I'm talking about, the one on the couch with like the 4 black guys.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, that meme is like,
Okay,
well,
okay.
this is terrible,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, with that, guys, we will be going for a short break. I think we're all gonna, take a moment to reset after a tumultuous game. But when we come back, we will have the next series up for you. I believe it is gonna be Nitrous going up against Cerberus Girls. So when we come back, we'll have the game for you. For now, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.